The new study showing an experimental drug slows the rate of decline in memory for men and women with early Alzheimer's.
This is the first time any drug has been clearly shown to have that kind of impact. So let's talk about it with Dr. Cindy Carlson, the director of the Wisconsin Alzheimer's Institute at UW Health in Madison. Cindy, thanks for your time. Tell us about the clinical trial and what it shows.
So the clinical trial that just came out a few days ago is called Clarity AD. And it's a study in people who have mild cognitive impairment or mild Alzheimer's disease. And they were given a drug called lecanemab through the veins every 2 weeks. And the way the medicine works is to clear out a protein that builds up in the brain of people with Alzheimer's disease called amyloid or beta amyloid. And so the goal is to go in and have the medication clear out this amyloid from the brain. And then hopefully that'll help the amyloid stop irritating the nerves in the brain and prevent further cognitive decline. So what the study showed was that it did have a beneficial improvement in people who had mild cognitive impairment and Alzheimer's dementia. And what it did is slow down the decline from the disease itself. So it's exciting news because it works against the cause of the disease and not just treating the symptoms.
You said that it's exciting for people that have known someone with Alzheimer's. It's a heartbreaking disease. Should this give families hope?
It should give families hope. Again, we're just hearing what they call the top line results. So just the baseline skimming of the surface of what the study showed. But they'll be releasing more details at the end of November. And then we can really dig in and see how much of a clinical improvement is this. So how much did it help the person? So again, we want to make sure it's not just removing that amyloid, but actually helping people function better and enjoying their lives more.
I want to talk about this drug again. We understand your team is also, the research team is also studying the same drug in a slightly different clinical trial. What are we seeing there?
So the study that we're doing here at UW-Madison is called the AHEAD trial, and that's an international study just like the Clarity AD study was. The way it's different is that it's people who don't have any memory problems, but they do have evidence of that amyloid buildup in their brain. So they get a specialized scan to see if they have amyloid, and if they do, they're eligible to get the same medication to help clear out the amyloid. And again, really trying to help prevent any memory changes from ever occurring because of the amyloid irritating the nerve cells and causing the decline.
Right now, there is no cure for Alzheimer's. How big of a step forward is this study?
This is a major step forward. Again, it's not going to get people back to where they were. It's not going to help people revert back to the state where they were before getting Alzheimer's disease, but it's a positive step in the right direction. So seeing if we can attack amyloid and if that helps people function better. There's lots of other pathways, we call pathways, or other causes that we're still fighting to target those as well. So it's not just the amyloid that we'll be working on. We have research looking at all different kinds of avenues, but this is an important one. And so we're encouraged by these results and the beneficial effects that have been found so far with these preliminary results from this study.
Time is everything, so slowing down that process is really important for families.
A lot of families depending on this information and research. Dr. Cindy Carlson, thank you so much for your time here at 4.
Thank you. We appreciate it.